Hi there, it's Sam from poodles.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. Today I wanted to show you how to make a post-it note holder. It's a kind of a post-it note pouch. This is one that I've decided I was going to do some embossing on and a little decoration. And actually I saw the idea in the annual catalogue, and well, it was actually on the graduation page, and it was done with these little flowers from one of the Itty Bitty punches, and I thought it was so lovely that I wanted to use that, but I also wanted to pop in a couple of other techniques as well. So very easy to do. I showed you how to do the mini version of it the other day. Sorry, the lighting's not brilliant today. There we go. So I showed you how to do the miniature version. Now this is the full-size version of a 3x3 square post-it note patch. It's not the long rectangular one, this is the square one. And as you can see, it's a standard 3x3 block. It has probably got about 100 pages in it, and it just closes away and stays shut like that. So let me put those out of the way. This one is done in Riding Hood Red, which is one of the colours that's going to be retiring in the summer. And I'm sad to see the retiring colours go, so I decided I was going to do one in Bashful Blue. And this cardstock measures 8 inches in this direction and 3.5 inches this way, because I wanted a little bit of an overlap. I didn't want it completely, or the post-it block to be completely flush. I just wanted there to be a little bit of give. So the score lines are at 2 inches, 2 3/8 of an inch, 5 3/8 of an inch, and 5 3/4. And obviously that's the 3-inch block there, and the depth of the block is 3/8 of an inch. So that's how I know where the measurements would be. But obviously, if you wanted a deeper flap over here, you would just move your measurements up. But basically, the two score lines that are close together always need to be 3/8 of an inch apart. Sorry, let me tilt that. There you go. These ones need to be 3/8 of an inch apart. There then needs to be a 3-inch gap, and then another 3/8 of an inch. So, like I say, if you want to adjust it, it's quite simple to do. Let me move the scoring tool out of the way. And then we're just folding over the creases, folding over the score lines and creasing them with the bone folder, just to make them sharp so it doesn't try and plop open, because obviously Stampin' Up cardstock is such good quality because it's dyed all the way through. It's thicker than cardstock that we're kind of used to here in the UK. So I wanted to do some the embossed background. Let me see if you can catch the shine on that. And this is it's done using the Versamark ink pad onto a stamp, and then you emboss it with embossing powder. So I've got my piece of cardstock here that measures 3 1/4 inches that way and 2 1/8 of an inch that way. So I'm just going to use my embossing buddy, and this will just stop any sort of greasy fingerprints or anything like that. And then with my big background block, which I'm probably going to butcher with my dreadful French accent, but is called en français. Apologies to anybody French who's just curled up in horror at that, so I am sorry. But I'm doing my best. You should hear me with the Welsh language, and I live in Wales. So this is my Versamark ink pad. It's a sticky ink, and you would use it for watercolouring, but you use it for embossing as well, because it stays wet, and then your embossing powder will stick to it, and then obviously that's what you then heat. So it doesn't really matter where you put it, because obviously this is a massive stamp, but obviously by the fact that it's sticky, it's stuck to it. Let me lift that off. I'm going to do my best to tilt this to see if you can see it. You probably can't, because it's clear. So, and then with my embossing powder, this is an old baby food jar, and it just means that I can throw the powder all over it and not have to worry about trying to catch it on bits of folded paper or anything like that. And I keep the pot in there as well, actually, so that it's I can see which one it is. It says clear on there. Tap off the excess. See, look, quick. No clean-up process having to go on. And then with the heat tool, this is it's got 2 settings on it, 1 and 2. 1 is for if you wanted to dry ink, but you haven't been embossing, and then number 2 is hotter. And I really doubt you can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in so that you can. awful long way. Hopefully you can see that. And what happens is the powder suddenly gets wet and turns very, very glossy, so that you can, you know, that's how you know that it's all heated up nicely. So if you've got your volume up high, turn it down, because this is, obviously it's going to blast some sound. So I'm just going to hold it in place because it is hot. And you just move the heat tool backwards and forwards. If you hold it in one place, it will, you know, there is the potential to scorch. And I'm holding this probably about 1.5 to 2 inches away from the paper. And all of a sudden it will start to go glossy. I don't know if you can see that. And that's when you know that you've heated and melted the powder. And you just keep moving around until it's all heated up and everything is turned glossy. So that's that done, and I'm just going to pop that to one side because I'm going to do a little bit more embossing. I don't know if you can see that there. Oops, that's just zoomed in too much. So all I've taken, this is just a strip of the same Bashful Blue, and I've just basically, see if I can keep that in, stuck it into the Versamark. Nothing scientific about it whatsoever because I wanted it wet. Back into my embossing powder. I'm going to keep this zoomed in so you can see it again. And then heat that up again. You might be able to see this better this time. There you go, you can see it's suddenly going glossy all the way across. And that's that embossed. Let me tilt that so you can see that's gorgeously shiny, and it's warm. Oh, actually it's slightly sticky. Let me just run it a bit more. There you go. That's that done. And here's the first one that I did. So you can see that's got a lovely glossy shine on it. Let me zoom back out again now. Very noisy zoom control here. Right, we'll put it all together now, so I'm going to leave that one to dry. And it just sits on the top of this section here. So, using some snail, just for speed, I would suggest using sticky strip because obviously you don't want this to be popping off or anything like that. Snail doesn't want to play today. Making sure it's the right way up. Just pop it over the top. And then what I've excuse me, what I've done here is I've cut out a 2 by 2 inch square. Sorry, and then lots of the well, actually 9 in or rather 8 of the little 4 pointed flowers from the Itty Bitty punches, and I've stuck them on. Now I've gone ahead and I've done 8 of them, and I've just put a little crystal on the top. So I'm going to pop out the 9th. And then I'm going to triple layer this onto some mini glue dots because I want this to sit up higher than the others, and but I don't want to use dimensionals because you know they might stick out underneath. So over the top there, and then with my little rhinestones, these have got mini glue dots on the back already. So straight in the middle. And then on some dimensionals, just a couple just to lift it up. Onto one side. And then I want to do the bottom section here, which is the closure. So with my 1/2 inch circle, and then another one of these glossy 4-pointed flowers, and this is the point where you put in your post-it note block so that you know where you're sealing it all up. And again, definitely with snail with this one, because when it runs out you want to be able to replace it. So I generally tend to line it up at the top Hope you can see that. So I'm looking down on it here at the moment, so that I know it's central, and then close it up around it. There we go, so that fits nicely. And I know, that's my piercing tool, I had this before. There it is. I know roughly where I want my circle to be, or my brad that I'm going to be using. I'm just going to punch a hole through. I'm going to do the same on these little punches that I've used. I quite like that sort of curls itself up. There we go, and into place. And I've managed to put my brads away. Oops. These are just the tiny mini brads. I think these are about 1/2 millimetre or something tiny like that. Put that into the middle. Split it open, and that is it. Quite simple, quite quick. You can do it in any colour you like. Hopefully you can see the gloss on that. You can see it better on the red, I think, although I can see it perfectly fine here in my lighting, but my overhead lighting is not brilliant. I hope you like it. I'd be interested to see if you make anything similar. Do leave pictures on my Facebook page. I do love it when people leave them. And thank you very much for watching. Bye.